Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wheels and Wings on our 11th episode.
Wow.
Wow. We're well into double figures now. No one can ever take that away from us.
Yeah, nice. Like it.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We've had a bit of a break. We've had a bit of a hiatus because we've just been very, very busy. We've had a lot of things going on. Christmas happened. Do you remember that? All that good stuff, and then
Have we not done one since Christmas?
I think we did one in January, but then now we're back on here now, so which is fine, which is great.
That's good.
Yeah, we're just sort of getting ourselves back into the swing of things in this early part of March.
That's true. That is.
So
March.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Mad,
isn't it? It's all...
Luckily, and it's beautiful and warm, isn't it? Everybody walking around in shorts and t-shirts.
My arse is soaked. I cycled here, and all the spray. I haven't got a mudguard on my bike because they're for losers, aren't they? You don't want to put accessories on your bike. Get a little basket for the front next, right?
Yeah, but mudguard might be a good idea.
Yeah, it might be a good idea. Yeah, but so I've got shit up on my back.
Yeah, can you feel it now?
Well, no, it's dried now, so hopefully I'll brush it off later. That'd be better, wouldn't it? Because you don't want to smear mud. That's what they say, isn't it?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not talk about this. It's really boring.
It is really boring, isn't it?
Do you know what I did think about?
Go on.
I did think that if only we could do this podcast on a Friday night.
In the bar?
Starting at about 10:30. Because, my God, you were hilarious on Friday.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. The bits that I can remember, I think I get to a point in the night where all the filter is completely gone. It's like the for each pint you have.
Yeah.
It's like one of those seesaws where the filter's on one side and there's a big bucket of booze on the other side of it. And when that bucket of booze gets full up, it lifts the filter up, removes the filter, and then... Honestly, pretty bad. I remember calling your missus a Cockney chimney sweep about 10 times over.
Yeah. And I don't even know what that was about, but it was very funny.
Yeah.
I also remember you talking about licking a capybara.
Yeah, doing the like that's how it's a visual thing. So that's how you'd lick a capybara. And we were wondering whether or not we'd do it against the grain or with the fur.
Well, I pointed out that anything with scales, you'd want to go with the grain.
Scales, they've got fur.
No, they have in the case of that. But if you tried something like an not an anteater.
Like an armadillo.
Yeah. You want to go with the grain with an armadillo, don't we? You're licking an armadillo. You want to go with the grain.
That's what they've always said. Isn't it?
Always,
that's what they've always said.
I mean,
it's written on the back of them, isn't it?
There's a small sticker.
Yeah.
Lick with the grain.
Yeah. And we also talked about why I split up with one of my exes, which was because she was with the paralysed guinea pig.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Paralysed guinea pig. That was pretty bad. I won't go into the details of that, but it is genuinely one of the reasons why we're no longer together.
Yeah.
Because I kept having to watch her. Instead of, getting into the mood on a Friday night, I was watching a massage the anus of a paralysed guinea pig, which it just takes the magic away of the evening, doesn't it? It just pulls, it's not,
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not candles and rose petals, is it?
It's not. Definitely not.
No, so anyway, thank goodness this isn't made then.
Yeah.
It'd be too noisy anyway.
It would be far too noisy. I wish we could. It would be far too noisy. So speaking of things being far too noisy, so you went to France recently?
Yeah.
How was the drive back with a permanently open window?
Well, it wasn't open. So what happened was we were about to leave. So I went skiing in France for half term. Dead posh.
So posh.
Yeah, so posh. It's luckily I know somebody who's very well off, and they said, "Do you want to use our place?" I said, "Yeah, please."
Nice.
And we'll drive all the way to save money.
That's the difference between So you go skiing in France, where I go sledging in Yorkshire.
Yeah,
it's very, very different.
Yeah. I'm not even sure sledging is what. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, So we were about to leave. Had a brilliant week, and so. Mercedes E-Class.
Yeah, so you got is it 62 plate?
It's a 2013.
Sorry, it's 13, 63, something like
that. Had it from new. It's been my car since for 10 years. Love it. It's just one of those cars that is I'm just a bit scared to get rid of it now because I've had it from new and I know everything about it and it's never skipped a beat.
Well, I drove it when I serviced it, and it was a wicked motor then. It was really good. Really good. Really enjoyed it. And thought, it was just tight as a drum. It was a proper thing, Yep. Nice car. There's no reason why you would get rid of it.
And the autoroute across France, Payard stuff, just sitting like 95 all day long.
Brilliant.
On cruise control. It's just made for that, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Except the German Autobahn. But so, had a fantastic week. About to leave. Boots open, back doors open, putting stuff in, and for some reason I've got the keys in my hand and I'm putting something on the back seat, and I just chucked the keys over the driver's seat onto the driver's seat. Fine, I just thought I'd just leave them there. They're just a pain in the arse. Got out, closed the back door, and the car was locked.
It's frightening. Absolutely, it sends shivers down my spine.
Honestly, I just, when something happens, you think this hasn't happened.
This hasn't happened. There's no way.
I can see the keys; they're right there.
Yeah. There's no way I would be trapped out of my own car in the Alps in front.
You'd have to be a dickhead.
You'd have to be a moron, wouldn't you?
The door was open, the boot was open, we're putting stuff in. So the boot's still open, and I'm thinking, it's fine. I'll go in through the boot.
Yeah.
On a saloon. No, you can't.
Like a mole.
Yeah, and I was quite willing to rip and I just think don't rip the lining off because I know there's no hole between the boot and the cabin of the car.
Mm.
So when about 3 minutes in with something like this, I'm going to have to smash the window.
So about 3 minutes in, you get to the point where you've exhausted all of the...
Really quickly.
Really, really sort of the simple options, such as going through the boot or finding a door unlocked or something like that. You've gone through all those options, and you're now in the Alps. You've got your family there. Yeah. They've all stood outside going, come on, let's go now. We've got a 14-hour drive ahead of us.
What are you going to do? So you can call the breakdown services, Google that little bit, and some people were saying the prices involved are ridiculous.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I'm thinking, no, you're right. 3 minutes in, you have to smash the window. Mm. You have to smash the window.
Yeah.
And smashing the window. So if you look at the driver's side of an E-Class of that age, there's a little quarter light in the right, the far as you can go.
Yeah.
There's a little quarter light and I think I'm going to have to smash that. And then I had a moment where I thought I might be able to. What if I smash it and I can't reach the door handle?
Yes. Yeah. So you have to smash another window.
so
that would be hilarious.
So there was a bit of measurement.
Yeah.
I think the handle's there.
That would be
the handle's
funny.
there.
And imagine if you smashed that second window and for some reason you couldn't open the back door because of a child lock or something. Then you had to smash a third window. Before you know it, you've got fucking no windows left.
French people leaning out of the apartments going, stupid roast beef, he's gone mad. He's smashing his own car. That's because that's what they speak like. So, I had to do it. So, first of all, was the reluctance to do it. Secondly, the knowing you have to do it.
Yeah.
And then doing it. So, I thought I'd use a jack or something to do with the jack.
Yeah. If you notice us checking the camera, sorry, we've... because of what happened in the last episode where we lost video halfway through. Come on, so you used the jack.
No, I didn't. So, I looked bizarrely... So I lifted out, all of the baggage came out into the spare wheel compartment, and there's a hammer there.
Nice, and some rope and a bit of cardboard and some
bodge tape.
Yeah. Some
load of bin bags.
Tape. Yeah,
weird. No, there was a hammer there, but so first
blood-stained hammer.
Yeah. So, how would you do it? Because so first of all, I thought there'd be loads.
Well, you're not using the fat end of the hammer; you're using the claw end.
Yeah, so it wasn't like that. It wasn't that sort of hammer. It was like a woodwork hammer. So it was quite a chiseled end.
Yeah.
And a flat end. So yes, indeed, the chisely end. Mm. So put a bit of bin bag, so a bit of plastic over it. Hit it. I thought quite hard. Nothing. Just bounced back.
Yeah. I have tried to smash car windows. They're incredibly hard to smash.
Yeah,
well, they're designed to not to smash, aren't they? That's one of their big sort of things.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of the structural integrity of most cars is the windows. You know, the rear window and the windscreen. Huge amounts of structural integrity just in those.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense. But about fourth attempt, I think. Because I was getting pissed off now because
people are laughing at that.
And I'm through the point of which I'm smashing my own car. I just want to smash it now.
Yeah.
So smashed it, arm in, open the door, all that sort of stuff. So
kids crying, just like dogs barking, like real
Are we
situation.
going home? Yes, we're going home. Shut up.
Bagsy not sitting on the side with all the glass.
So that's my point. Wow, what a lot of glass.
Wow,
From
really?
a tiny little quarter light.
Yeah.
So many cubes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, with the tempered glass. Like
so it was all of that.
It.
So then...
So have you had that repaired?
Not yet, no.
Jesus Christ.
So I did such a good job.
So break into your car.
So drove down from the ski resort into the main town, which is called Borg Samaris, and instead of going to the supermarket where they see British people all the time, went to their version of B&Q to look for some very strong tape, and they have this stuff called there's gorilla tape, isn't there?
Yeah, frog tape.
Yeah, they have frog tape. It's not frog tape, is it? So similar. It's called alligator tape.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorilla tape.
Yeah.
So taped it up with that. Did such a good job. Didn't even know wind noise, nothing
really?
On the way home. Yeah,
that's
nothing.
good. That's good. And did you find somewhere to hoover all the glass out?
Well, I did it with a brush.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Dad, my leg's bleeding.
It was disappointing.
So,
as far as the drive goes, sorry to cut across you, but as far as the drive goes, did it in Wynne. Borg Samaris to Chester.
Great going.
17 hours.
17 hours. But you were stiff as a board when you got out.
I think there was a moment where, you have the trust of your family, don't you?
Yeah.
You're driving and they say, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah. If we're tired, we'll absolutely stop and go into a Premier Inn." I'm not, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Beaconsfield Services.
Yeah.
I bought 2 espressos and a Red Bull.
No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't be alarmed. No, I'm fine.
So I'm having the whole. I think we should stop because there's a Premier Inn right now. No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm good. We're nearly home now. We're not. We're just outside the M25.
Brilliant.
But nailed it.
So I did obviously a similar drive from Cologne in Germany at the same time, so in the Discovery. So we went from Cologne back to Chester in one sort of fell swoop, and that was, I can't remember how long, but a very, very long time because we missed the first ferry.
Oh.
Because of all the new passport checks and stuff, which suck ass.
Disappointing.
Massively annoying. So usually I turn up half an hour early for the ferry and have done for the last 20 times that I've been over. However, we turned up at like maybe 50 minutes early and we missed check-in by 10 minutes. And I was like, well, but what do you mean? And they said, well, you're going to have to wait for the next boat. And I was like, how long's that? And they said, well, 2.5 hours. I was like, oh, fucking 2 hours. And she was like, yeah, but you're not going to be able to get there now. And I was like, but we're only 10 minutes late. She said, yeah, but you've got to go through all these passport controls. I was like, what? So there used to be 1 passport control in France, and now there's 4.
Yeah.
And they don't even do anything.
Yeah.
They're all doing the same thing.
You know why though, don't you?
Well, of course, yeah, but...
so same with the Eurotunnel.
Yeah.
So I've got this thing about... They always let you on early. They give you an option normally. There's one you can pay to be really, really early, and like an hour early is free.
Yeah.
And we got there beautifully early, said, absolutely, we'll take the hour early. And we only just made the original one we should have been on, purely because of the volume of traffic and all of the passport controls. Wow. It is different.
It's massively taken the shine off the whole sort of the trip, really, because it's added so many hours. And the big annoying thing for me, so on the way back, I can't remember the name, which motorway it was, but I got 2 speeding tickets on the way home.
No.
I got 2 speeding tickets on the same stretch of road. So they have the cameras.
What, the average speed ones?
No.
The yellow ones?
No.
Oh.
So normal speed cameras on the gantries across the motorway.
Yeah.
And it's a changeable speed limit. So I got caught doing 70 in a 60 and 80 in a 70.
Fuck.
And it was just because the speed limit changed, and I was so tired, I was confused. I never really go on this road at all. And to be honest, I thought they weren't going to be on it, it wouldn't work or something like that. I was just like, I don't get it. And anyway, I went through it, so bump, big flash.
And don't you? It's
Instantly know.
When people say, "Oh, I'm not sure if I got,"
Yeah, 100%.
It's so obvious, isn't it?
And then
it's like a double flash as well.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like flash.
Yeah,
and
it's a weird flash. Yeah. And then like a few minutes later, my foot was just back down. I was like, "Oh, fuck it then. I'll go home then. Fuck it. Take my license, you bastard." And I just
I'll
got
see
another
your
flash.
3 points and give you 6.
Yeah. So, but I had no points on my license at all. So no,
that's all right.
So but I got letters through came pretty much the same time. What I should have done in hindsight is sent them off, both of them at the same day, and hoped that they'd both offer me a course. But I didn't do that. Because I was just stupid. And looking back, I wished I would have done that, and then they'd have confused each other and both offered me a course. However, I sent one off, and I still haven't sent the other one off because it said you've got up to 30 days to do it, so I was going to wait until the 30 days. I don't know why I've done that, but I wish I would have sent them both off the same day.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to get 3 points in the course.
Yeah, course. Oh, my God. Have you done the course before?
I've done 4.
Yeah, I've done 3.
One of them was for running a red light. And I just remember being in the whole thing and being like, what are you going to teach me anyway? There's only 3 fucking colours. I know green, go, orange, maybe. And red, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
So what else is there?
Yeah.
What have we got, like a whole day in the classroom to talk about?
So that's interesting. So the speeding awareness course is one. Is there a traffic light awareness course?
Well, so it's the traffic light awareness, but it's the same course, and they talk about using your mobile phone. So it's all driving without due care and attention. That's that course.
Yeah.
So talk about it. So the teaching's about not using your phone. Now, I'm like, I wasn't using my phone. I'm on a fucking red light. And the only reason I did it was because there was a fucking idiot in front of me.
If they'd been quicker, we would have got away with it.
I was like, they stopped. I was paying more attention to them than I was the fucking, because there was a car stopped in the middle of the road and fucking there was nobody else around. And
so I've got a thing about traffic lights. So there's a line, isn't there? There's a white line.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? And if you haven't, I guarantee from here on in you will notice.
Yeah.
A lot of people stop way before the white line, and I drive past them going, "Why have you stopped there? There's a line up there."
Oh, past it. Yeah.
And they stop. Like almost like half a car's length.
Yeah.
Before the white line.
Yeah, it's because they don't want the takeaway and the passenger seat to fall off when they've slammed on, so they have to slow down gradually. I've been there, I've done it. That's it. That's what it is. I'm sure.
That's interesting, that, because a friend of mine's dad he's quite a well-off guy. He had a chauffeur's hat that he had quite a posh car, and he'd park in wacky places and leave the chauffeur's hat on the dashboard. And a lot of the time, he wouldn't get a ticket.
So that's exactly the same as Tony the Rave or Aled's dad.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. So he had this white sort of Bedford Rascal. He put an amber beacon on the roof, right? Fucking legend of a bloke. Brilliant. Amber beacon on the roof, and he had a high vis that he would drape over the over the back of the driver's seat, so you could just see like the outline of a high vis. If you drove past it, you would swear on your life it was the council. You would swear on your life it was the council. Brilliant. Just completely white van, really good nick, just obviously looked after thing. And he used to park it everywhere, and just like nobody would bat an eye. And he'd drive, because it's so small, Bedford Rascal, instead of parking like, I don't know, like on the side of the road somewhere, he'd drive up and park behind like a pedestrian crossing, just like really dangerous, but it looked like he was working on it. It was just like, oh, great, okay, yeah. Never got a ticket, loved that. So
in the same vein, if we're on about avoiding tickets, another one, a friend of mine went through the French test pilot's course.
Nice.
In Epner in France, and he bought like a really old left-hand drive scimitar estate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. What? I don't want to say scimitar. It's a shit car. Not scimitar.
Right.
Oh, this is good. Anyway,
yeah.
Shit old French car. Estate, left-hand drive, French plates, the whole bit. Brought it back to the UK, park it anywhere.
Yeah. What are they going to do?
It was furry with traffic tickets. It's like registered some Jean-Pierre Gaultier somewhere in Epner.
Love it. Absolutely
That's
brilliant.
quite a cool thing to do, isn't it?
I was flashed by a speed camera in... what's that? What's the tiny... Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
So I was flashed by a speed camera in Liechtenstein. Never got anything back from that. I was flashed by... This was a long time ago, so you probably would now. But I got flashed by a camera at the Nürburgring. They put...
Yeah, you've gone quite fast there, though, haven't
you? Well, not on the Nürburgring, but at the Nürburgring. And they put the mobile ones that they just leave stood up there. It's crazy, but they fucking really... but they flash directly in your eyes. It's a fucking weird thing. If you've ever been caught with one, you know what I mean. They're like a tripod on the side of the road, and it blinds you as you go past it. It's like, that'll teach you.
That's great.
But again, never got anything back from that. But it was years ago. Oh, a Simca. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that is boring.
But anyway, so I just want to briefly mention as well the keys in the boot thing. Yeah. Keys on the driver's seat, locking the keys in the car.
Yeah, because you've got like a bit of a thing about it, haven't you?
So absolutely terrified. And the reason being is that, so I used to sell Volkswagens, brand new. And I had this young girl who had passed the test and drove around in this shitty old car. And she'd saved up all the money. She got a really, really good, well-paid job. So she came in one day on her own to buy a new Polo, right? And brand new Polo, yeah. So that never happened. She was probably 18, 19, something like that. Never happens. It's always with the dad, with the mum, whatever. Never happens. But she's on a bill. And I'm like, right, okay. Talking her through it. And she's like, I just want the best one. What's the best Polo I can buy?
GTI.
Well, so at the time, I'm like, there's no way you're going to want a GTI. So I'm like, what engine do you want? No, she's just like, and I was like, what, do you want like a 1.2, 1.4? And she's like, no, I want the best one. And I'm like, well, they're quite expensive to insure because if you want the best one, it's going to be a 1.8, DSG GTI. She's like, yeah, how much is that? And I was like, well, how do you want to pay for it? She's like, I'll pay for it monthly, I'll put a deposit down now, I'll give you a few grand now, and then, pay the rest of it monthly. And I was like, well, let's do it then. So we sat down, went through all the paper, went through everything. This is how much it's going to cost. And she was like, yeah, 100%. Listen,
how much was it at the time?
18 grand, something like that. Really expensive little car, but it was a real nice one, proper nice Polo GTI, fast as fuck as well, great little car.
Yeah.
So it was white. It was just like, proper nice thing. And she was like made up with it. And anyway, so the car was built, it arrived, and then...
I've got a question. You said the car was built.
Yeah.
I always think, and we'll build it to your specifications. Is that true? Do they have endless versions of the car? So
yeah, but you're not. So it's sometimes that can be true, but usually you're changing the build spec of a car that's already halfway through being built.
Okay.
So every dealership will get a allocation of cars that they can buy. So, and sometimes you have to use that allocation as well, which is how they sell the cars that you can't imagine people buying. So this is a massive thing at the moment with electric cars, and we'll go through that again another time. But so they say, like, with Volkswagen, this year, you need to buy and register from Volkswagen, this is the dealership themselves, 4 Touaregs, 8 Passats, 8 Passat estates, 2 Golf estates, 100 Golfs, all this sort of stuff. They give you these allocations and X amount of Polos. So what we'll have done is we'll have gone into the office and I've said, I've just sold a Polo GTI brand new. So Johnny would have gone on the computer and he goes, right, okay. So we've got... where are we up to?
His name?
Johnny, great bloke. And he'll say, right, we've got a Polo GTI that is in the, say, 6th week or 8th week of production. So at that point, you can change the colour of it. You can add stuff onto it. You can do all this sort of stuff. So the car will be the bare bones of a car, but we know it's a GTI at that point, so it'll have had GTI stuff. So at that point, you can change stuff.
But that doesn't make any sense to me. You say 6th week. They take about a day to build, don't they?
No, well, so it might not have been 6, but they usually take 3 months to build a car. 2 to 3 months to build a car. So that's
so I don't get that. So just I'm being ignorant about it. So when you say build a car, I have in my picture a picture in my head of a car going through a factory as an empty chassis and it turning upside down and all, and it's like 2 hours and it's built. What do you mean?
Yeah, so it's a lot longer than that.
Okay,
it's a lot longer than that. There's one part of the car building process will take X amount of days, and then it'll go to another part, and then it'll go to another part, and then it'll go to another part. Some cars take a lot longer, some cars take a lot shorter, and the factory has a certain amount of capacity for different things. So this is where you get allocation. Just to save one dealer doing a massive fleet deal and like suddenly wanting to sell all of the Polos in the UK, you can't do that. So so everybody's got a fair share of cars and stuff. So sometimes it's a timeline that is purposefully laid out, so the cars you can swap configurations and stuff and all this type of thing. So say if someone comes in and says I want a white Polo GTI but I want the comfort pack and I want a sunroof, it's like, right, instead of us making you wait from where there's nothing until the car's built, we've got a car that's halfway through being built that you can have. So we've already got the bare bones of the car, but now we can stick a sunroof in it, we can do this, we can do that. Well, sunroof I think was a bit harder, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, this Polo arrives, and she's like, right, I'll ring her up, she's like, great. So she tips up with her mum, 2 of her friends, and her. And they've all come into the showroom, and they're like pack horses. They've got bags and coats and just like the whole lot, right? So it's like, right, okay, so there's all these these 4 people, and they're having a great time, they're having an amazing day out. So I got on with them really, really well, It was just a really nice deal to have done, because she was so, for an 18 or 19-year-old girl to be so enthusiastic about a brand new Polo GTI was just the best thing. That was the best bit about the job, was when you had someone that was, because a lot of the time you're dealing with people who don't really want to be there, don't really want to be spending the money. Like, I just need a new car. I don't really want. What's the cheapest? Can you do it any better? She didn't do any of that. She was just like, I want a fucking white one, and I want it to have heated seats. You know what I mean? It's just like, great, okay, let's do it.
That's quite cool.
Which I loved. I love customers like that. So anyway, I parked the car directly outside the doors of the dealership on this little ramp that went down directly. It was just enough space to get one car up there. So when she drove in with her mum, she saw her GTI.
That's
there.
very cool.
So she comes in and they're all bouncing, dead, noisy girls. Oh my God, look, it's so nice, right? So I'm like, this is great. So we sort all the paperwork out. Here's your book pack, here's your keys and everything. 2 keys with the car, great. So they walk outside, and then we're out there, and I'm like, yeah, this is brilliant. So you okay with this? Do you know how to work this? Yeah, great, everything. So she's just not paying attention to anything I'm saying. Yeah, they don't give a shit about me anymore. They just want to get in the Polo and fuck off to McDonald's. That's all they want to do. So I'm like, right, I'm telling all this stuff, and anyway,
Banger's the closest one.
Banger Mackies.
Yeah,
and they go, right. So
is this Pentraeth?
Yeah, it's Pentraeth-ish. Yeah. So Mum's like, oh, let's get a photo. Oh, right, yeah, let's get a photo. Everybody in front of the Polo. So I'm like, right, do you want me to take it? You all 4 of you in front of the Polo, and I'll take the photo. And I see them all load all of the coats, bags, everything to boot of the car. And I watch her mum put everything that her mum had in her hands, put it in the boot, and shut the boot. And as soon as the boot latch, as soon as it hit, dunk, the indicators just went boom, little flash. And my heart sank. All the blood drained from my face, because I'd been explaining to them not that long before, this button at the top of the key locks the car, this button on the bottom of the key opens the car, this button in the middle, never ever ever press it, because that just opens the boot. And if you shut the boot, you can't open it again until you've pressed that button. So never use that button. It shouldn't be on there. It's like an anti-theft, anti-hijack thing that they used. So it's like with your car, yours is an anti-hijack thing from stuff like South Africa and things. That's why it exists, because of all the car hijackings and stuff. So you can get in your car, you don't have to worry about it. Your cars will lock after you. So anyway, I watch these indicators flash. The poo comes out my arse. I'm like,
had to take the photo.
Yeah, so that's what I did. So I took the photo, and I'm all nervous, and I'm thinking about what I do next. And I was like, So I went up to her mum. They're all like laughing away. She goes to try it out, and I go to my mum. I go, "Did you just put the keys in the car? Did you put the keys in the boot of the car? Because I gave you the book pack and everything. You put the keys in." And her mum's like, "Yeah." And she's starting to clock on that something bad's happened. And I'm like, "Yeah, right, okay. So you've locked the keys in the car." And she was like, "Yeah." And then
can you just get them out there?
Yeah, and then the daughter's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "So you locked the keys in the car." And like at this point, so I'm maybe 20 years old.
Okay.
So I'm young as well, and I'm shitting myself because I was just having the best sale of my life. It was absolutely brilliant.
And it's just gone south.
Yeah, and it's gone south. It's gone so fucking south. And I was like, so I'm at that point. I go, I need someone higher up in the company to come deal with this because I do not know the procedure for what happens now. So, Dad, please come on. So anyway, so I'm like, fuck. So I said, look, hang on there for 2 seconds. Let me just go and grab someone because I'm not sure what we do now. So just let me go and grab someone. So I walked into Johnny's office, and I was like, and he was like, fucking hell, what's wrong? I was like, they've locked the fucking keys in the car, and he's just like, head in his hands.
Yeah, that's not helping.
On the desk, and you can see him through the window. So where they're stuck, you can see him head in his hands. And I was just
what you wanted to want. Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah, we've got a master key.
It's called like a skeleton key.
Yeah,
it opens all the cars, which would make no sense. No.
So anyway, he comes out, and when he comes out, the look on his face, the daughter bursts into tears. So she bursts into tears, and then a friend starts crying, mum's crying, everyone's fucking crying. I almost start crying. Yeah, I almost start crying. It was. They were literally just about to drive off, and they've been there for like an hour and a half already, getting everything sorted, so they were ready to go. So anyway, what happened then was that Johnny...
You point and say it's your mum's fault.
Yeah, pretty much.
She did it.
I said, look, do you remember me saying about the keys and stuff, and your mum's put them in the boot, and she shut the boot?
Your mum's put them... You can't say that.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, because that was a fucking truth, wasn't it?
So they've ended up in the boot.
So they've ended up in the boot, yeah. So Johnny walks into the workshop, speaks to the workshop manager, tells him the situation. Workshop manager comes out. Really nice guy, but no tact.
No, bit blunt.
Walks out and goes, oh, well, we've got to smash the window then. And she's like, what? We got to smash the window then. I'm like, mate, shut the fuck up. Seriously, what we got to do? Don't joke, like, don't. Yeah. And so a few of them came out, and they gaffer taped the entire window from the outside, which is what you should have done to us. But you didn't have gaffer tape with you, so it wouldn't have worked. Yeah. So they had gaffer tape all over the outside to try and stop as much glass going inside as they can.
Yeah.
Gets worse. So they smashed the window then. And at this point, the family's inside, they're having a cup of tea, and Johnny's saying to them, look, you're not going to be able to take this car away today, so you have to go home.
Maybe ever. Yeah. Might have to burn it.
We're going to have to replace the window, and you can come and pick it up again.
Yeah.
Fuck it. But we're going to do it all free of charge.
Well,
we're going to do it all free of charge.
So that's interesting. Yeah. So the first thing you'd think was, well, of course you fucking are. But they locked the keys in
so many times. I've got so many examples of the dealership having to foot the bill for the customer's fuck up. So many times. Because you have to save face. Especially on an island like Anglesey. You can't at all stand there and go, well, you fucked it, you're going to have a bill here. You just can't do it. They will know everyone on that island. Honestly, so much stuff. Some stuff. We had a woman once who she bought a brand new car and she said, oh, my back's hurting while I'm driving it. And we had to undo the deal. Cost us thousands, it's like, VAT and everything, all of that gone.
Clearly, it's the car, not your back.
And and we tried absolutely everything, but no, she wouldn't drive it because of her back. Honestly, but you can't. You have to. So much shit. But anyway,
humans are shit, aren't they?
It's a fucking nightmare. But that was again one of the reasons why I left, because it was all just a ball of shit. But but then so anyway, so the window smashed. Get in the car and then they go into the workshop. So we had to get a window. It takes fucking ages to arrive, like 2 weeks to arrive this window, because who buys a fucking brand new Polo window? And it had to be like anyway. So because it's a GTI, I think there was a level of tint on it.
Yeah,
from the factory. So anyway, so this window comes, gets fitted. They give it to the valeter before they put the door card back on, and they say, "Can you hoover out the glass from the bottom of the door?"
Yeah.
Valet goes, "Yeah, no
reasonable
problem." Very reasonable. Except all car valeters are fucking idiots. Sorry, I'm joking. No, I'm not joking. They are all fucking idiots. That's why the car valet, isn't it? No, I'm only joking. I was a car valet for like 3 years. What was my first thing was being a car valet, and I am still a fucking idiot. So, there you go.
Yeah.
But this valet was hoovering with one of those long neck things on the thing, and for some reason, like pulled it out too hard and levered it against the door.
Oh, so within the skin of the
within
door.
the skin of the door to get out of the thing, and just
he didn't
on
lock
it.
The door.
Put a big fucking outwards dent in this door, this white door, this brand new white door, big fucking outwards ding, like a trolley ding, but facing outwards because he'd levered it with the thing. Mental, absolutely mental. So anyway, he comes in, fucking nightmare. So we had to paint the door. She was without the car for like a month, maybe more, and then it ended up being one of the best deals, turned to one of the worst deals. Cost us an absolute fortune. We didn't make any money. We lost money on it. It was a nightmare. So there you go.
So
Windows keys.
So what do you like with keys now? Have you got some sort of like weird like thing?
Yeah.
Where's my key?
Get 2 keys with a car. You have to have 2 keys with a car. You keep one of the keys really far away from the other one.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Not in the glove box.
No.
Well, in my case, 17 hours away from the other one.
So you would still have been fucked. I'd have still smashed the window because it still would have cost you money, didn't it? Or you could have got someone to like special deliver it. I don't know, but whatever. Just keep the key far away and then get someone to get the other key. Yeah. Which, again, it's happened several times that I've known in my life of locking a key in a car, but knowing that I have a spare key. And it's hijackers in South Africa. It's their
just
fault.
Explain that to me. So I still don't really understand what I did because I was in the car. That's my point. I was already in the car. So what did I do? So I was in the car. Boot is largely irrelevant. I was in the back of the car, put the keys on the front, and I closed the back door. I don't know whether it locked at that stage or it was sort of already not unlocked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you might have... What could happen is you could have had the door open, hit the lock button.
Yeah, I think I did that.
Yeah, the door would have locked, and then it was permanently locked when you shut it then. Okay. But there's loads of other things. So the hijack thing is... I remember questioning how stupid this fucking button was, and the fact that so they changed it after a while, that all Volkswagens used to be programmed. When you hit the unlock button, it only opens the driver's door.
Okay.
And it used to drive everyone mental because everybody had come in and they'd go, "No, there's a fault with my car. When I press the unlock button, it only opens the driver's car. I have to press it twice." It's like, yeah. And then we go and speak to the and they'd be like, "It's an anti-hijack thing. It's for people in South Africa." Because when they come and open the car, there's someone hiding behind the side, and they'll open it and get in and try and kill you. You know, so
Belt Clear does that.
There you go. Absolutely, yeah. So it's
what's that? 2008.
So it was around then. That's sort of when I was working. It was like a big thing. But I think they've changed it now. And like on my Discovery, you have settings. I think on your Merc you'll have a screen inside that you can change all the settings. I could on my old 5 Series and stuff. So you can change what happens when you press buttons.
Okay.
So if you press the open button, it can open all doors, or it can just open the driver's door, or whatever. So yeah, that's why it all
interesting.
Existed. It is interesting, yeah, but also scary, isn't it?
Annoying. Anyway, autoglass repairs. Autoglass replace.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah. Should we just have
a quick beer?
A quick beer break. I just want to check the camera.
Yeah. And I did have something because one of the people who was he says legend, but this guy was incredible. So there's a guy called Ken Reese.
Right.
And he was ex-RAF, lived in Rossniger, where I lived. And he was part of the Great Escape team.
Wow.
So, the whole Tom, Dick and Harry thing.
Was that the one with the plane out the roof or... No, that's the Great Escape's the jumping over the thing on the motorbike.
McQueen,
So I thought there was only one in the film, or is that...
One what?
Steve McQueen who tried to get away.
No, so what happened was...
I'm not very well versed on it, I'll be honest.
So I won't try and go through the whole film, but basically there was a tunnel plan where they dug these tunnels. Everybody on here, apart from you, will have watched the film.
I've watched the film. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Incredible film. But it was based on a real attempted escape. And
from this guy from Rossniger, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he was one of the main tunnellers, Ken Rees, Wing Commander Ken Rees. And so he was the next one out of the tunnel when it all kicked off and the spotlight and the sirens went. So he went back down the tunnel.
Oh, shit.
And I think 52 of the people who got out were executed. So it's almost like... So there was this thing in the war in the Second World War where you are obliged to escape. Certainly as an officer, it was your duty to escape and get back to the UK and continue to fight in the war. And it was almost like they...
The film's all coming back to me now. I remember exactly what it was. So I only thought it was one guy in the motorbike thing because he tried to jump the thing because he was one of the guys that escaped. Because there was a few of them that went on trains and then they spoke that bit of German and he said like, all right, and he went, all right, mate, or something, and then they were captured.
And there was the guy with in the airplane, the blind one. Remember what? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Fantastic film. So he had to go back down the tunnel. And so... my point was that they thought the Germans thought that it was an unwritten rule that we're going to try and escape and you're just going to catch us and put us back. But in that particular case, they just shot them all.
Wow.
So which was
do you know what? Yeah, they're just unsportsmanlike, weren't they? Really, the Germans.
Exactly.
Really unsportsmanlike.
But this guy was absolute hero. So he was from Ruabon.
Ruabon.
He's my height, which is not very tall, 5'7", but really stocky, lovely guy. And the stories that this man had was fantastic.
So did he get out alive?
Well, he was about to go out of the tunnel, one of the main tunnellers, and about to go, but had to go back down the tunnel and back into the camp because the lights came on, all that sort of stuff. So survived. I think he was a little bit bitter about that.
Yeah.
But, at RAF Valley, where I knew him from, he'd be at all of the... there's a Battle of Britain night, normally in September, and he'd be there, and he hated... We had to host lots of local dignitaries, and he was one of them. And I knew from speaking to him in a pub called the Sandymount in Rossniger, he hated anything like fizzy or pretentious or anything. He just drank Glenfiddich. That's all he drank.
Nice. He drank. Yeah. Proper Welsh boy.
Yeah. And he'd come to these things, and I try and make sure I was in his group, because as an officer in the Battle of Britain cocktail party, you'd be assigned to host some local people. Right. And I'd make sure I was in his group.
So you met him?
Oh, no, I spoke to him all the time because he lived in Rossniger. Wow, lovely man.
Okay, brilliant.
Absolutely lovely man. And he'd be there.
Amazing.
And they'd come round.
Because these guys are things of legends, aren't they? But to actually speak to someone, that's awesome.
Such a privilege.
Yeah.
And they'd come around with these glasses of champagne and all these nibbles and stuff like that. And I bugger off to the bar, and I said, "Can I get a double Glenfiddich?" And they said the bar's not open. And I said, "It was for Wing Commander Ken Rees. Can I get one, please?" And they'd always say, "Oh yeah." And so I'd get this whiskey and come back to him and like swap his glass of champagne for, and he'd go, "Oh, good boy,
yeah,
thank you very much." But some of the stories that came out were just incredible. So he went on later in life to he wrote a book, he's dead now, called Lie in the Dark and Listen. I really recommend that book. It's incredible. So he told me that he was in charge of a station, an RAF station. And when he came to leave, you had to go to the various messes. So there's an officer's mess, a sergeant's mess, corporal's mess, all that sort of stuff. And you give a speech, say, "Thank you very much for my time," and off you go. So he was given a tankard in the corporal's mess, and he said he was about to give the speech, and it was a pewter tankard, and he said, "Oh, this is lovely." And he went to sniff it, and he thought, "That's not beer." He thought, "That's whiskey." And he said, "I'm going to have to give a speech, but I've got a tankard, a pint of whiskey.
Wow.
Like
brilliant.
to the brim.
Yeah.
So he said, he said, thank you very much for my time here. I've enjoyed it. It's been an incredible time. And he said, anyway, so I've got to get off. He said, because I've got another event at the Sergeant's Mess. So thank you very much. So he said he downed the tankard of whiskey. Thank you very much. And he said it was like having a time bomb inside yourself.
Because he knew it was coming.
And he said he walked up, thank you, lovely, thank you very much, lovely, had a great time, thank you. Yeah. And they thought he was going on to another event, but he was just trying to get back to his room to stick 2 fingers down his throat.
Yeah, brilliant, genius.
But they all went, he's just like drunk a tankard of whiskey. And now he's gone on to another event. Amazing. Is he even human? So that's really good.
That's quality.
So the other Ken Rees story I have, please look him up. He's an incredible man. He played for London Welsh, rugby for London Welsh, had a trial for Wales to play rugby for Wales, but he had a broken thumb in his trial and fluffed a pass and didn't play for Wales, but he was a very good rugby player, played for Wrexham as well. So we went on an air show. So when you have an air show, you have one display pilot. Right. In my case, it's the T Mark 1 Hawk.
Yeah.
And he's a display pilot, but we always bring static airplanes to so
people could walk around them.
Yeah,
and things
exactly
and,
that.
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So you've got the display one doing the whooshy stuff, and then you've got static ones, and also a spare. So if the display pilot's aircraft breaks, then he can fly one of the spares.
Yeah.
So we took
as long as it breaks on the ground.
Yeah, as long as it breaks on the ground.
Yeah.
So we went to Malta.
Nice. Yeah.
And someone's got to do it. So we took 3.
Tough life, isn't
it? Yeah. So we took 3 Hawks there, and I flew the spare. And we went to a cocktail party, and we'd flown all the way from the UK to Malta via a fuel stop in Nice. And we were like, minging, and they went, no, we want you to go in your flying suits. I remember that and thinking, it's not a good idea, It's not good. No. If you wouldn't mind, and there's a lot of dignitaries, a lot of ex World War II pilots there. So if you can go in your flying suits, that'd be really good. And we're all going, oh, all right, well, whatever. Just don't lift your arms.
Yeah.
So we went along to this thing, and I started talking to a New Zealand guy, a Kiwi pilot, Kiwi guy who flew for the Royal Air Force in the Second World War.
Wow, brilliant.
And he said, so where are you from? And he went, mate, he's a friend of mine, lives in Rossnau, Ken Rees. And I went, I know Ken. I said, he's amazing. I sort of speak to him in the pub, know his wife. I said, it's incredible. He went, Christ. He said, I've got some stories about, this is a New Zealand accent.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Anyway, so this guy said, so we'd had a few beers, and so this is the amazing thing. This is the stuff that would never be told. So he said in the Stalag Luft 3 marches, this is the place they were taken to. So they were captured and they were marched. A lot of people died in the marches because it was winter. And he said Ken Rees found everybody. So they'd march for a ridiculous amount of time, and the Germans would say, so right, we're stopping here for the night. But they'd just be in open land.
Yeah.
And you had to get out of the wind, otherwise you die of hypothermia.
Wow.
He said Ken Rees found everybody somewhere to sleep before he'd sleep himself.
Honestly, wow, brilliant.
And that was just
the measure of the man, like.
Yeah, but I was so privileged to find that out, because why would I know that?
Yeah,
Ken Rees would never say that to me.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that was incredible. And he said when he found everybody somewhere out of the wind, so like a little scrape or something behind a tree, then he would sleep himself.
Amazing.
How cool is that?
Absolutely love that. So when you knew him, when you were talking to him, how old was he?
80s, early 80s.
God, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
It is so cool. But what an incredible man.
Yeah.
And never had nothing but funny stories. Nothing about, about being apparently PTSD from the war, which he must have had.
Yeah, of course.
That stiff upper lip stuff.
Yeah,
from
PTSD has only recently been invented, hasn't it? So...
No, you're not allowed to say that. But an incredible hero of a man. That was a privilege to know. Yeah,
fantastic. That's awesome. Love that.
Yeah, really good.
Bloke.
Yeah,
I love speaking to people, which is why I do enjoy speaking to you as well, because you've done.
Not that old.
No, but you've done superhuman shit. Do you know what I mean? Okay. In terms of there's not many people out there that have flown at ridiculous speeds, fighter jets and all that sort of stuff. I remember the story you told me of flying, over the bridge and stuff, and people being there, and just love all that sort of stuff. It's absolutely incredible, because it's something that the vast majority of people will never do.
It's
great to see it as a normal person.
I was very lucky. Very lucky. Just lucky to do it. Really, could have been you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, could have been you. Could have been anybody.
Yeah. And it's great that obviously, people are still doing it now, and it's still a thing. And, I know there's a lot of talk about, what you do for your, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but, drones and stuff like that. And that are used in war zones now and stuff like that. But yet there still is, fighter planes. There still is, serious stuff like that going on. And I catch some clips of them sometimes, and what goes into the stuff that they're doing now and all the sort of tech that's involved, it's fascinating.
It's incredible. The technology's unbelievable, and I have no inkling. I don't even pretend to understand, because it advances so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, you probably know a lot more than me because you actually do it. But just recently, when the big laser thing came out, not recently, a few months ago now, but stuff like that is that's was around for a while. These things that we only just find out about.
Yeah,
and it's fuck, can we do that? Amazing,
We need to put them on sharks, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Strap them to sharks' heads.
Yeah. Was that, what film was that?
I think it's. I was going to say Doctor Who. It's Austin Powers. Isn't
it? Yeah. We do need them on sharks.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
That'd be good. Because they don't even have very twisty necks, so that basically they can't look over their shoulder and accidentally fry somebody. So if you put a laser on a shark, they don't twist much, do they? So as long as they basically fire where they're pointing, I guess.
So if you it's like the dogs on tanks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember that thing?
What? Hang on, what?
So the dogs with the bombs strapped to the back on tanks.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? Have we mentioned that before on the podcast? I don't think we have. No. Well. Sure. One of my favourite weaponised animal stories of all time, because there's quite a few, obviously, isn't there? But the one of the best, and I don't know if it's true, it might be propaganda, but apparently, because the Nazis were mental, and they used to do all sorts of mad shit to try and find the next best thing that they could do. And so they would put these big sticks on a dog's back, and when the stick was lowered, it would set off the huge amount of explosive that was wrapped around the dog's waist.
Okay.
And they train the dogs to run at tanks.
Okay.
So the dog would run underneath the tank, stick would go down, dog blows up, tank blows up. That was the whole idea behind it. On paper, fucking, do you know what? It's clever. It's
How do you get a dog to run at a tank?
Well, this is the thing. So they trained it to run at the tanks. They were like, right, okay, dog, this is a tank. Run underneath that, and so the dogs would right, that's a tank, I'm going to run for it because of the noise and all this sort of stuff. Dog, right, I'm running for that. So legend has it, I don't know if this is true or not, right? But so they get these dogs and they're like, right, okay, there's some, Allied tanks over there, go and fucking blow them up, right? And they let these dogs loose. Yeah, so these dogs would sort of run out into the middle of the battle, and the dogs would be like, what the fuck are we doing? And then one of them would turn round, and a German tank was right there behind him, and they went, oh, a fucking tank. And the Germans like, no, not this one, Schnauzer, no, 999. And the dog would run into their own tanks and fucking blew them out, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, What a great... And again, I don't know if it's true, but what a lovely,
I want it to be.
Yeah, what a heartwarming story,
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely fantastic. Strap a bomb to a dog and blow up your own tank.
What... So we did. We alluded to licking a capybara. That was something to do with COVID, wasn't it? You were trying to
It was, yeah. Like, because if you've seen what they're up to now, so fucking hell. So again, you've got to be careful about what you sort of read online and stuff. But the Chinese people now, these scientists in labs, so they're still pissing about with the COVID as a illness, as a
scraping frogs.
Yeah, scraping frogs. Like, what are we going to do to go? But one of the things that they're doing is they've invented a new strain which kills a humanized mice within 8 days. So look it up again. I did before I said it. I have
humanized mice.
Yeah,
what's that?
A humanized mice is that. So humans have certain. I think the word's enzymes, but I'm not sure. It's like we have certain. Again, you have to look it up. But there's humans have a certain.
This is Derek. Yeah. It's a big mouse.
Yeah, flat cap with his fucking holes cut for his ears.
He's just to Disney, isn't he?
But so they make these mice so that they would react to human ailments and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because otherwise testing on animals would be fucking pointless, because what would hurt a mouse wouldn't necessarily hurt us, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So they've done that, and they've invented this new COVID thing, and they stick it in these humanized mice, and it's killed them all within 8 days. And it's like, stop fucking about with it.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. We don't need to know any of this. You're not going to invent anything, we're gone are the days of just wandering around, scraping the back of a frog with a knife and sniffing it and going, are we going to get high?
Yeah.
Or are we going to die? You know? And now they're going too far. Honestly, they just take things too far all the time,
Who's they?
Yeah, just the man.
Love it.
And that's great. We guys, because we're talking about licking the backs of frogs, but what other animals could you lick the back of, and what would it do to you? So
capybara's quite big.
Well, that's why I think because we've got to move away from small animals and start licking the backs of bigger animals. Yeah. And sort of see how that affects.
You wouldn't want a laser on a giraffe's head, would you? Because they can swivel real easily.
That's true, and they're so fast, because that's how they use their heads to fight.
Yeah,
like
have
clubs.
You seen that?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
You've seen that particular incredible
smashing their heads.
Yeah, they're like using the head like the lump on the end of a rope.
Yeah, absolutely insane, crazy bastards.
Don't laser on that.
Well, that's why we don't like giraffes in here either, because they're fucking dead unpredictable, and that is another reason why I don't like horses. Yeah. So I've got a chip on my shoulder about horses, right? Because I remember, so I used to look after some horses where I lived. We hired out one of our fields, and there's some horses there, and I used to have to every morning get up at dickhead o'clock, because for some reason they needed feeding early in the morning. Shut up! You eat when I fucking tell you to eat. So I had to get up at dickhead o'clock, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be like, right, okay, so I'm not in school till 9, but like or it was at 8:30, but for some reason I've got to get up 2.5 hours early so I can feed these horses. And we'd had this big loads of hay, and I'd go in and I had to cut the ropes off the hay so the horses didn't fucking, I don't know, kill themselves or whatever. And I used to have to separate it all and throw it in where the horses were, and I had to get very close to the horses. And one of them once, the big horses moved their head, like I stood right next to them, moved their head like this, like that. And I honestly swear, I was millimetres away from being completely either decapitated or like knocked out. They're massive.
They are
and like,
massive.
And these, there's so many sort of, these like, women love horses. But women, and you think like, they could kill you just by moving their head.
Yeah, they're very compliant, aren't they?
Yeah, they could
Horses, not women.
Yeah, women are the opposite, which we need to go on to International Women's Day.
Let's not.
International Women's Day.
Please, let's
which
not.
I think we need to... Listen, I think we just need to pull it for a few years.
No.
Just revoke it for a few years and just let it all sort of simmer down a bit, because they've been acting up like, this all sorts of...
Stop it.
With what's been happening
Stop
recently.
it.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
I've had some bad shit with women recently.
Yeah.
3 years. Take it away from them for 3 years. 3 years. That's all I'm asking. And then we'll give it them back. It's all right. You can have your day again, but just fucking chill out, okay?
Yeah. What should we talk about now?
Got a couple of things for you. Solihull's a shithole, isn't it?
No, Solihull's quite posh.
Is it fuck?
No, because that's where the motorcycle museum is, isn't it?
It is true, yeah. It's quite, yeah.
That's a nice bit of Birmingham. It is.
It's true, yeah.
I'm not saying the nice bit of Birmingham. In fact, I was in Birmingham on Thursday.
Yeah. So I was there on Thursday.
Were you?
Yeah. So I was in Solihull on Thursday.
Right. Come on.
So the Land Rover Jaguar.
Have a wee in a minute, but go on.
Yeah, we can do that. Are we still? We'll cut all that last 10 minutes. But just for 3 years, it'll be fine. They won't even notice.
Stop it.
Sorry. And as well, annoyed because it was Mother's Day today, and my mum, I booked this fucking restaurant, and my mum turned up like almost 45 minutes late, and I'm just sitting there. I was stood up by my own mum. Yeah. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, but mums are all right. They can get away with anything.
She can get away with anything. Yeah. She likes her flowers. We're joking, of course we're joking. But went to Solihull, right, to look at this Jaguar Land Rover factory because I was in a Rover. Well, I'd done a Rover P4 recently, and that's where it was originally built, was in Solihull. So I went down on a bit of a fact finding mission to see what was there now. So it turned out that it's now the Jaguar Land Rover factory.
Yeah.
But the Jaguar Land Rover factory is now is monumentally big site, but there's 4 of them because it's so big. It's so big. So the site is, instead of just being the big, massive old car, they've now extended it. There's one next to it, there's one next to it, there's one behind it.
Do they do 4 different things in the different sites then?
I'd imagine maybe they would, because there's different gates. So where like you'd probably have one for paint, one for chassis, one for engines, something. I don't know, something like that. So I'm going to try and get a tour. So I spoke to them there, and I'm going to try and get a tour or something organised for the other Tasty Classics.
Cool.
Yeah, which should be good fun. But what I noticed while I was there was that everyone, and there was no exceptions.
Please don't let
everyone. No, what I'm doing. Everyone was miserable. And I'm not talking just like the levels of miserable that we deal with here, because we do deal with some levels of miserable. I'm talking Belgian.
That's mainly stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Belgian levels of miserable, real bad. Like they just. So I stopped. I pulled over and I asked this guy who was working there I was just like, "So mate, have you got like a visitor centre or somewhere I get some more information? Sorry, I'm just doing this bloody thingy." Like, and he looked at me like I'd pissed on his kids or something. He was just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I was just wondering if you got like a, it was like, and it really begrudgingly sort of trudged over.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What you want? I was just like, "Oh, a fucking smile would be nice, like, you know what I mean?" So anyway, he took me to this place completely wrong. I went in there and they started, and I asked him, and he was like, so I had a GoPro in my hand. It wasn't switched on. First, "Oh, no, you can't have that in there, you can't have that in there." And then someone else is shouting, "Oh, you can't have that GoPro." And I'm like, "It's not even fucking, I'm literally, there's fuck all in here anyway. This isn't like a reception area, and it says visitor centre on the fucking side. I'm a visitor, what are you trying to fucking hide, like?" And but anyway, so miserable. And then all the car drivers, so there was this one bit where you had to go through like a T-junction where there's some traffic lights. Yeah, let me just say this. T-junction with the traffic lights. And it was like the traffic lights weren't there. And they just can't, because you've got 1,000 people leaving work all at the same time. Yeah, so they had all these traffic management people, and they were just, and I was sitting there at the side of the road going, "This is mental." Anyway, Solihull's a shithole. Sorry if you live there. You're for piss.
When you nearly wee yourself?
Yeah, it was what you did then.
It's lovely when you then have a wee, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Do you ever dream?
Oh, God.
And so, fuck it.
I'm scared. Really, what are you going to say?
This is the only time I've ever pissed myself in my life. Like. So sometimes...
I don't believe that for a start.
Sober, this is the only time.
Okay.
But do you ever...
The map of Africa.
Yeah. Down your legs. Do you ever, you need a piss when you're asleep.
Yeah.
So your dream, whatever you're dreaming, starts to go into So you might be, for example, you're Indiana Jones and you're searching for this lost relic in Tales, and you're running through these caves and everything, and all of a sudden you're running through these caves.
There's waterfalls.
But you need a piss.
Yeah.
So you're now Indiana Jones looking for this relic, running through these caves, but Indiana Jones needs a piss. And you run through and you're like, fucking hell, I need to find this, like, where, but what am I going to do? Because I need a piss. Like,
must be you running around here somewhere.
Yeah, and then in your head, you're like, but my toilet's so far, but it's your toilet at home, and you're like, and it is quite far away, and you're like, fucking hell, what are we going to do? But the only time I ever pissed myself was when I was
and then like, you find yourself in your girlfriend's wardrobe.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's where I usually am anyway.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was 13, I had one of those dreams. This is why I'm so scared, and I'm glad that I wake up in time every time, because I had one of those dreams, and I dreamt that I was having the piss.
Oh.
And I was having the piss.
Oh.
Yeah. But I think I was older, maybe like 15 or something, but I remember the dream being so vivid and just being like, thank God for that. I made it to the toilet. And then waking up.
Going,
fuck!
That was a dream.
Shit, I'm fucking pissed. Amazing. When you were a kid, did you ever used to piss behind things just in your house?
What do you mean behind what? What do you mean?
So, like, instead of like going to the toilet, you just like piss behind the couch or something? Did you ever do that?
I don't think so. I used to wee outside a lot.
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of, rather than going to the toilet, go and wee on the lawn.
Yeah,
did that a lot.
Do that? Yeah, still do that now.
Outside weeing, yeah.
Yeah, especially when I've been boozing. Straight outside,
looking at the stars.
It's great, isn't it? Such a nice thing to do. Yeah, it's very peaceful, at one with the universe. Yeah, it's interesting. So, right, let's ask you this question. So, 2 parts.
Yeah,
you're in a plane.
Yeah,
and say you're flying. So, say you're going to Malta.
Yeah.
So, how long from here to your fuel stop?
I think it's about an hour 40 or something.
Oh, fuck, that's not very long at all.
No, well, it's all internal I mean, obviously, talking about a specific type of aeroplane that I flew.
Yeah, it was
like
for the 670 mile an hour,
one,
isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, about hour 40, hour 50, something like that.
So what's the longest amount of time you ever spent in a plane?
About
not
that.
As a passenger. Is that real? Wow,
yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't. So
I mean, you can get from Aria Valley to Nice in France in one go, in a Hawk.
No, Nice.
So, Nice.
Nice.
So you did that. I tell you an interesting thing about that, though, that we haven't spoken about. So you have to put a flight plan in.
Yeah.
As a military pilot, you have to put a flight plan in. You says, I'm leaving here, I'm going to this point here, this point there, this point there, and fly across France, blah, blah, blah. And as you approach French airspace, he said, "This is us."
Hello, monsieur, in the fighter plane. Tell me who you are, where you're going.
No.
Is that what they do?
No. Oh, no. Well, they expect you. So they give you a call sign. So a Royal Air Force call sign is RAF Air.
Nice.
So just... so when you're flying around the UK, you have one call sign. But if you're going across Europe, it's RAF Air something. So you'll say RAF Air 1496.
So traffic control spotted a blip on the radar that's doing twice the speed of all the other planes.
So
what's happening?
You'll get what's called a handover. So you'll be speaking to London military.
Yeah.
For example, say London Mill, blah, 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 approaching French. And they say, Roger, handing over to French control. Yep. Jean-Claude, if you like. And you'd say, Jean-Claude, this is RAF Air 1497.
Bonjour, RAF Air 147.
Exactly
nice
that.
To see you.
Yeah. And we'd say we're a flight of 3 Hawks, 2 POB, 2 persons on board on each.
Nice.
So 6 people transiting from Echo Golf 9 Lima, which will be a point in space, across to something else. And they'll say, Roger.
Roger.
Nice to see.
Don't be dropping any bombs on us.
Stupid. and we'd say, Roger. And they say, and we would say, embellish.
Oh, okay.
And embellish means we're military, and if your French fighter planes want to, they can use us as if we are enemy airplanes.
Training?
Yeah.
Sick! That's so cool!
So it's so cool.
So your mates, your French mates come up and you piss about.
So basically, no. So we're going to stay on track. They know that we have so much fuel. We're going from here. We're trying to get to Nice to get to the Cannes Film Festival. No, we're not. It's something military.
Because we're doing a wine one. Oh no, because you're English. Right? We're doing a wine one. Wine one.
So we're at whatever 40,000 feet, 38,000 feet. But when you say embellish, what that does is they can tell their fighter airplanes, sort of the people that would intercept any enemy coming into they say, okay, we have potential enemy fighter planes at 38,000 feet. They're tracking this, tracking that. So cool. So you're traveling along like an airliner, but you're in a tiny airplane. They're just like me in the front and a mate in the back. And all of a sudden you see like these Mirage 2000s or Mirage F1s or whatever they are, like hauling ass up
nice,
at you.
Nice.
And they're basically taking what's called an intercept to shoot you down.
Wow.
And you're just sitting
purely for training exercise.
Yeah, it's training exercise, but it's really good for them because they don't know it's coming. So they've been sitting on what's called QRA, quick reaction alert, which our Typhoons do all the time in Lossiemouth in Scotland and Coningsby on the East Coast. And they do that all the time. So the French version of that, and you'll be mincing along, I think talking about which restaurant we're going to go to when we get there, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then you go, oh mate, look down there, and you'll see like this thing, like just boring towards you.
Wow, with like black and white stripes on it.
No.
Oh.
And
a beret.
It's very, very cool because what they do their intercept.
Yeah.
And then they're like massively powerful fighter jets, and we were in training airplanes, so we're just going along. And after they've done their intercept, they'll come alongside and just like pull up alongside and just like give you a thumbs up and then just roll in and just pull down.
That's so cool. Do they ever give you the finger?
No. Because we're all on the same side.
Yeah, but you would, wouldn't you? It's just for fun.
No, but there's this thing about...
The international wanker sign?
Still no. But how cool is that?
That is awesome.
And you get some Mirage come along.
Are they smoking cigs? Can you see them? Have they got a cig in the mouth?
Almost certainly.
Yeah, almost certainly.
And they have a nice Malbec.
Yeah, Malbec and a cig in the mouth. It's the French guys. How do you know? Well, he's got a cig and a Malbec.
So in the 80s, you go into some French Air Force base and they give you a packed lunch to take with you sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it was in the packed lunch, like this, you're flying.
Yeah.
Was a tiny bottle of red wine.
Oh,
how cool is that?
That's amazing.
That is so French, isn't it?
That is so cool. Like, so cool.
We're flying and they go, yeah.
It's only one.
Yeah.
It's only one. You'll
Tiny.
be okay.
We give this to the children.
It's a child size one. What's your problem?
Cool.
That's awesome. That is so cool. My question was going to be, what do you do if you need to piss?
Okay.
Hold it, essentially, wouldn't you? Because you're only up there for an hour and 40. Like.
Yeah, but we're giving these so what they look like is it's a flat cellophane bag.
Yeah.
With a little spout in the top.
Yeah. Like a flattened Lucasade bottle.
Not unlike that. Very similar, actually.
Yeah.
But it's see-through and it's got a sponge in the middle.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So what
to wash your face afterwards.
You have to.
Sorry.
Have to. No.
To
absorb. So what you have to do is you have to put an ejection seat has a pin. If you on the ground, you don't want to accidentally pull a handle. So
like a grenade, it's got a pin in the side, and then you can pull it. Yeah.
So it has a pin and it stops you pulling the handle. So one of the things you do before you taxi is you take those pins out and you put them in a stowage on the coaming on the so they live there.
Yeah.
If you need a pee, you need to take those pins or that pin, you put it in the handle, then you unstrap.
Wow. Okay.
And then you have to wee into this bag.
Yeah.
And you can stow that. There's a little compartment down the side. And then re-strap yourself in and then take your ejection seat pin out and put it back in the stowage.
Wow, that's awesome.
I've never done that. Never had to, but yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're up there for that long, you would just hold it, wouldn't you?
So that is what the frontline fighters do if they're tanking. So if they go up and they say you're going transatlantic, then you'd use like most of your load of fuel, then you'd come up behind a tanker.
And the big straw
comes
out. And,
the big straw comes out. You'd plug in, you'd suck your fuel. So on those long transits, sometimes you need to do that. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, isn't it?
Unstrap and wee in a bag.
Nice. So essentially, you are just a lorry driver at that point, aren't you? There's no difference there.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Seatbelt off, piss in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. I like
no, they
it.
can't do that, can they? Anymore? With their tachographs.
I mean, there's a lot. Why the tachograph? Can that tell if you've unbuckled?
On a lorry?
Yeah.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, there's a lot of stuff lorry drivers can't do, but I'm sure they do.
But doesn't tiredness kill? Take a break.
Well, yeah, but just because you need a piss, you're not tired, are you?
Yeah. They must have lots of restrictions. Do you know anything about those lorry driver restrictions across, Europe?
Well, so my mate Dero was a concrete wagon driver.
Just dobbed him in.
Yeah, and he used to give me some brilliant tales of the road. So one of the a concrete mixer driver.
Yeah.
Is
so the constantly turning.
Well, so there's a couple.
Oh, okay.
There's two different types, but the drum one, the rotating drum, is a fascinating subject in itself. So there's two types. There's a rotating drum, and then there's the they call them like ready mix. So they've got the three compartments. You've got your sand, your aggregate, and you've got your cement mix, and you've got a big tank of water. You turn up at the site and you measure it. So you're buying by the square meter essentially, and they can just go out and do someone's patio or whatever.
Awesome.
Dead cool.
What does that look like from the outside? Is that just a square lorry, or is it?
Yeah, just a square lorry, and it looks like.
How does it mix?
So they've got it all on board, everything on board. So it's all there. So it's like it's a batching plant on a back of a lorry, which is just fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Really, really good. But so the turny, so the turny boys, the big spinny drums, they're for use when you just you're sending 10 trucks to an industrial site and you build, you're putting a big base on for a building, so. Tachographs, you have to take certain breaks at some time. So I don't know tons about this, so apologies if I do get any of it wrong. But this is only stuff that I've sort of heard from him, which is just crazy. So obviously concrete has got a shelf life.
Even in the turny thing?
Yeah. So in the turny thing, you have an amount of water on board that you can add into that to keep it wet and to keep it going around if anything happens. Say, for example, you get stuck in traffic or the truck breaks down.
Yeah.
So you have an amount of water in there, but you can't just add water to concrete all the time. You can only add a certain amount of water to concrete, and then it's useless after that amount of water.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, and then you've just got a sloppy Giuseppe in there, so you can't, you've got to be, you've got to follow, the amounts, and it measures everything perfectly, and you've got these little computers on board and all this sort of stuff. So anyway, a couple of stories he told me is they used to have this shitty little pedal jumper, which is essentially 2-axle concrete mixer, tiny little thing with a big spinny drum on the back. And it got filled up, but it was unreliable and fucking old, this thing. And they sent a guy from their plant in by Colwyn Bay down to by Betsacoid.
Yeah.
So this thing goes down there. Anyway, it's coming up one of the big hills and it gets stuck on this big hill. For some reason, it's not working. Clutch has gone, something like that. Engine's fucked. It's just not going at all. So they're like, fuck. And it's full of concrete in the back. So they're like, well, what would you do? Because you've got to get the concrete out, haven't you? What can you possibly do in that sort of situation? So, you pull over, and unfortunately, all the power's gone. The drum's not rotating anymore. Fucking hell. So you've got no engine, you've got no battery power, you've got nothing. So drum's not rotating, you can't do anything, you're fucked. So this concrete in the back of this drum is setting. And essentially, you've got two options, right? And this is fascinating. Option one is that you buy a new drum. So you go back, you get the truck back, you take this get a crane.
I was going to say.
Take this incredibly heavy, massive bit of metal.
Which is now full of concrete, set concrete.
Yeah, complete paperweight. Take it out, stick it on the side of the plant and forget about it. And that's going to live there for the rest of its life. Yeah. And then you buy a new one and put it on. Very expensive. The other option is what Dero used to get a few grand. No, not a few grand. Like maybe 600 quid on a Saturday, and like
2 people's drives.
No. So him and this other guy that did it, who specialised in it, because it happens quite a lot. You would get a jackhammer, and there's a big hatch on the side of these drums, big hatch on the side of them where a human could enter. You put the biggest ear defenders you've ever seen in your life. You show me a pair of them.
But these things don't go solid that quick, do they?
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. If it's been sat there for like a day on the side of the road, you can't get it back. Because, you can't just get a normal recovery wagon. You've got to get a big recovery wagon. And even if it started to set, you're fucked. Yeah, you can't just wait for it. It's fucked. Like whatever. Even if a little bits of it set, it's not going to come out the top, so you're fucked. So you open this big hatch, go in on your own on a Saturday morning. You start at 7 o'clock in the morning with your jackhammer, and you essentially jackhammer the entire load of concrete, chunk by chunk, out of this fucking thing, and then throw it out the door, and that's your whole life for a Saturday. And I think it was like 600 quid you got paid for it.
Oh, so they can use it again.
So they can use it again, so they don't have to take out, which is the better option. So he said he'd done that loads, and he used to send me pictures of what he looked like at the end of one of those days,
covered in white dust or something.
Just incredible, like he'd been down a mine for years, just real insane stuff.
That's amazing.
So
I
incredible.
had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither.
That's really interesting.
And until you told me about it, I was just like, that is insane. That's so cool, But it used to happen a lot more than you'd imagine, really, because things happen. And so another one the reason I thought of it with the tachographs was because if you get stuck in traffic and you got tachographs, at some point you have to legally take that break.
Yeah.
And you get different times for breaks. So again, someone can correct me on this in the comments. You've got like a 15-minute break. You have to take, you've got like a 45-minute break that you have to take, then you've got another 50-minute, and you have to take these breaks.
Yeah.
So like, you're trying to get to your destination, you're sat in traffic and all this sort of stuff. This is why they keep water on board for times like this. But there has been, it's been like a really hot, dry day, and they're trying their best, and then they get to hit traffic, fucking hell, and then they get out of traffic, and as soon as they're out of traffic, because you've been stuck in traffic, you've hit your half-an-hour break, you have to go, or I think it's 45 minutes, you have to pull over. And the incredible thing, and I don't, again, someone correct me, I don't know if this is 100% true, but you cannot do any work. You are not allowed to even fucking do anything to that load at all. You can't work any computers, you can't pull any levers, you can't do nothing. And the tachograph, I think, knows if someone's fucking about.
Out of the cab and all that sort of thing.
Well, no, I think you can get out of the cab, but again, I think if the engine's running and if you're doing all this stuff, yeah, we do that with the driving anyway, don't we? Yeah. So yeah, and then you get to a point where you turn up to the place and you'd start to pour it, and you could hear inside that it's not moving, or it's struggling to go round.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a point where it sort of gets like, it's so heavy that the drum motor can't like push it.
Yeah,
maybe it can.
Well, it's quite strong, but he told me about times that he's had them on 2 wheels, full big, triple axle concrete, lorries. He's had them on 2 wheels, just by because when he's gone round and roundabout. At that moment, the stuff is just because there's a big corkscrew inside them.
Yeah.
And if you just hit that roundabout a little bit too fast, and you've got to proper counter steer it and drop it back on the ground and stuff. And fascinating though, absolutely fascinating. And so big hills were a nightmare. So sometimes, because it's always spinning around, but it's just not spinning around like fast enough for it to fall flat at the back. But if you go up a massive hill, sometimes it'll spin around so much, all your concrete will pour out.
What?
So as you're driving, so if you ever go along the road,
it's coming out the back.
Yeah, you can see strips of concrete in the road. It's because it's falling out the back of someone's wagon just as they're driving on like massive hills.
I have seen, like, yes, I have seen.
Not loads,
not
but
much.
enough. And so apparently the rules are That if that happens, you have to then go back and clean it up. So you've got to get a team there with jackhammers and shovel it all the way. So, no, because how are they going to know? You know? Unless you're caught on CCTV and then you're fucked.
How do you know it's come out?
Well, this is it, isn't it? How do you know? Yeah. Unless the car behind you is like beeping its horn and flashing. It's just getting peppered with concrete.
God, that's amazing. I love these insights into other people's... They probably think that's... Well, it's obvious you know all about that, and that's the whole thing, isn't it?
I used to do his head in because all I do was ask him questions.
What happened then? What happened then?
He'd be like, why are you so interested in this? And I'm like, mate, honestly, I want to know, like, you know, what does that do? What does this do? What's that for? You know, how do you work this? What's that? There's so many questions. I didn't know how the concrete came out the top of it. I was like, how do you get do you have to pump out or something? He says, no, there's a big corkscrew inside. I was like, wow, there's a corkscrew inside. This is so good, you know. Because again, if you don't know, this is why, you know, we always ask you questions about planes, because you know it all, like, and you know, sometimes you go like, oh, fucking hell, what am I saying this? But it's like, I don't fucking know.
But I'm the same. I'd love to talk to somebody who's amazing with like a big high Mac. Or you know, so like a digger.
Oh, yeah.
It's a track. Because you watch these guys sometimes and you just think, you are so good at that.
Yeah,
you're so good. And I know it comes from doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
But have you ever hired a mini digger?
No, it's one of my lifelong ambitions.
So I hired a mini digger to in a previous life, I needed to dig through a hedge and dig a hole. It doesn't matter why. But it just the whole... I had sandwiches, I had food, I that was the food bit. I had drink, and I just stayed in there all day in this mini digger. And it's...
Is it the most fun?
So much fun. So there's an hour...
I would love to do it.
There's an hour of working it out, and then it's like, oh yeah, I've got this.
Yeah,
I've got this. And then there are periods, oh shit, I haven't got this. You know, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
So good.
But just like you become part of it.
Yeah.
I'm so focused. And my ex came out and she said, "So I couldn't even get your attention." I said, "No, I'm so down, man."
Oh, well, serious machinery we're operating here, love. Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. Give me...
I've got 12 hours, I've got this. Shut up.
It's the hole's not going to dig itself, is it?
Yeah. So much fun. I loved it.
That sounds amazing. I went to my dad's boss's house. My dad's boss, when he was alive, used to invite us round to the family for like a day at his house, because his boss lived in this massive sort of mansiony place. And it was something to do with Monarch as well, which is interesting, isn't it? Okay. But yeah, so used to go there and do stuff. And I went there and I would say 11, 12.
Okay.
And there was a ride-on lawnmower.
Yeah.
Now, again, any machinery, any sort of application, I just want to play with it. And I've been like that since I was a kid, like, you know. So there I am. We're all outside having a barbecue, and it was middle of summer, gorgeous, like, and I had these massive, like, massive garden, and then it went down a sort of a hilled garden where it was all like an orchard and stuff. It was a glorious place. And I remember staring at this. It was like a brand new, and it was massive. So it looked like a tractor. So it was a really big lawnmower. Like
that's the big ones. Yeah,
proper machine, you know. So I'm like, and I'm just staring at it, and I can't take my eyes off it. Like, and I'm staring at it because I'm waiting for someone to say, "Do you want to go on that?" Yeah. So eventually, the staring pays off, and his boss comes over and goes, "Do you want to go on that?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" You know, when the stars align, and for a moment you believe in God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, yes, I would like to have a go on that, please. And so he takes me over to this thing, and he's like, right, okay, look, you've got a few functions and stuff on here. Don't need to worry about any mower stuff. You just want to have a drive it. You just press that pedal there. You've got that pedal there for brake. You've got the steering wheel, and you've got this lever here. Put it in the middle to stop when you want to park it. Push it up. See where the picture of the turtle is.
See, once you go slowly then.
Yeah, so see where the picture of the turtle is.
Don't go with the hair picture.
So, if you want to go there, so if you want it to move, you just go up there.
Yeah,
and you've got the pedal, and you can go a little bit. You know, great, but that's your one. Like, and I was like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm staring at her, and he's like, don't pull it down. If you pull it down, you're going into the hair one, and that's too fast because
it was a hair. I wasn't joking. I was joking.
Turtle at the top, hair at the bottom. It's this big, red, brand new, the fucking shiniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was just, it was like, don't put it down because it's too small. There's too many trees. It's too small. It's too small. You don't need that.
It's not too small.
And I was like, don't you dare tell me how to fucking drive. 12 years old, 11 years. Don't you dare tell me.
I'm all hair.
Yeah. I've got a car. I had my first car when I was 10. So this for me was piss, absolute piss. But I just went to play with it because it was a new toy.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I won't put it in that. Yeah. Nice one.
No,
anyway,
won't.
Anyway, where's the keys? Cocky little 12-year-old. So, got the keys, fired it up, and he was like, just stay up here. So got it in turtle tortoise, and I'm just fucking driving it around.
Boring.
I'm like, God, they all need to fuck off, so I can ramp it up a bit. So I'm driving around, and I go up to him, and I'm like, can I take it down to the orchard bit there? And he's like, got to be safe. You got to be safe, right? And I'm like, don't worry, I was safe. And they're all pissed at this point. So
they don't care now.
They don't care. So it's late at night. They're all pissed. So anyway, go around the side of the house, instantly, bang it straight into hair mode. Dunk, made like 3 mile an hour difference. But I'm in full hair mode. Yeah. I'm absolutely tanking it at about 9 mile an hour down this side of this orchard. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Anyway, cut long story short, I lose control of it.
No, you didn't.
Lose control of it, and I hit a branch of a tree that was lower than the front of the machine. So I hit this branch of this tree, and I'm fucking... And then I just sort of go, I'm going too fast. I forget which pedal's which. All a bit complicated. And then, bump, smack into this fucking tree. Stops the thing dead. Huge dent in the front of this brand new... It's big fucking huge dent. I was like, oh, fuck. So I just started crying. Because I was 12. You're allowed to cry when you're 12, aren't you? You're allowed to cry when you're 12. And I just bawled my eyes out. And I'm stood there just bawling my eyes out. But they didn't know anything because I'm down there anyway. So I'm still crying, and I get back in it, put it in reverse, drive it back up to the house in tortoise mode, crying my eyes out, drive it round the corner. They're all there.
Are you thinking, what can I say that happened? And
And I got on the corner, just stopped it, and just crying my eyes out, and I ran off into one of the other rooms in the house, and just left it there, ticking over, and they were like, what's up? And I just ran away. And then, must have been 45 minutes later, probably once they'd all calmed down, my dad came in, fucking seething, man. Yeah. This is his boss's house. You've just fucking crashed his lawnmower, and just gave me this intense bollocking for about half an hour, and then, which just made me cry more. And then, and then I sort of got out. But the boss, the guy that sort of ran it, multi-millionaire, he didn't give a fuck.
No, of course he didn't.
Didn't give a fuck.
He didn't
It was just it's a big fucking dent on the front. But probably, you buy that.
It's a lawnmower. It's not a Maserati.
Yeah, it's a fucking shitty little lawnmower. Sorry, my dad gave me bollocking because it's his boss, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I got, and then anyway, this guy's and that made me feel so much better. And I was like, okay, sound. Yeah. And I'm sure by the end of the night, I was trying to have another go in it.
That's superb.
Absolutely brilliant. Great fun. Love it. Yeah. But any machinery, I want to go. I want to use a digger.
I think you'd be good in an aeroplane.
I'd love to go in an aeroplane. Well, I've always say, don't I? I'm just waiting for that time where I'm on the way to Spain and both the pilots die.
Like a little one.
Well, I've flown a Cessna.
Yeah, but something with a bit of oomph.
Yeah.
You'd love it.
Yeah. I say I've flown a Cessna. I don't even know if I was in control of it. The man said I was.
The man.
Yeah, it was it was one of those shitty experience days that you could buy over Carnarvon Airport.
The man. Yeah.
And he was like, right, you have control. And I was like, ah! And he was like, don't move anything. And I was like, how do I know if I'm flying it then, you lying bastard? But I didn't say that because I was 15. Probably.
Was he 19?
Yeah. No, he was 90.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Old boy, he probably was letting you do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great fun. Really good fun. And do you know what? Fair play to my uncle as well. I love my uncle because it was his experience. So he'd been bought it so he could fly the plane.
And he went...
And we got there, and he could see how much I wanted to fly the plane. He was like,
really cool.
Do you know what, Ben? You can fly the plane. And I was just like, fuck it, I love him to bits now. Great.
Yeah.
And I would do exactly the same. If I had a kid there, I'd be like, yeah, go on, you fucking do it. Well, now that I've already done it, I'd be like,
now you've done it,
Yeah. But if I hadn't, I'd be like, get fucked. Get back in the car. Get back in the car. I'll see you in an hour.
Yeah.
No, you can't have the keys. Sit in the car.
And keep away from that lawnmower.
Yeah.
Good.
Should we call it? Is that good? Yeah,
that's good. It's good fun.
Have a quick cig and another beer, and then we'll get home, I think.
Yeah.
But listen, thanks very much for listening. If you have enjoyed any of it, which is unlikely, but if you have, just drop us a subscribe. Leave us a comment as well if you want us to talk about anything that you want us to talk about. So any experiences that you've had or things that we should discuss, any questions for Wynne or anything, obviously being the pilot dude that he is. Let's get some questions in for him. And just anything else you need to say to us, do it in the comments. Leave us a like, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Brilliant.
Bye.